Good morning, everybody. Happy Father's Day. Hope everything is off to a fine start at your house this morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. Blue skies, puffy clouds. We might get a little rain this afternoon. Who knows? I'm going to the lake today. Can you see it back there? Got the ski all put together, waxed up. We got everything but the seats recovered. And, well, I just wanted to tell everybody Happy Father's Day. And I won't be with my kids today. They're all grown. Married my youngest baby off yesterday. He is the most awesome man you'll probably ever meet. Everybody loves my son. And I am certainly glad that he found his wife, Megan, because, man, she's an incredible girl. She puts up with him because, I mean, he's a character. And he's a good guy. He is an awesome guy. And I think that's why everybody loves him. Man, they had a house full yesterday. I told them whenever we was doing the rehearsals, I said, man, you guys, how many invitations y'all send out? And they told me. I was like, wow. Me and my ex-wife sent out 350 invitations, and I think only about 35 people showed up. I said, y'all don't expect about 10 or 15 people to show up. Well, why? What do you mean? What have you heard? That's what they said. What have you heard? Nothing. I said, just don't count on it. Just as long as you and Sam are together and the preacher, that's all that matters. Man, I've been married 3 times. And I was in love with all 3 of them. Hell, I was in love with all 3 of them whenever I divorced them. But anyway, hey, it's live. I don't know. I waited 20 years between the second and the third one. I don't think I'm going to wait that long to get married again because, man, why did I do that? Well, for one thing, you know, I had kids, little kids, and I had done drug them through 2 marriages. And I mean, when kids' hearts get broken, that's a different story, man. And I seen that, and it broke my heart for them because they really did want a mama. You know, me being a single dad and everything, hey, we did all kinds of fun stuff. But you know, a house without a mama in it just really ain't a home. And after that second divorce, I was like, man, I can't put my kids through this. The old story my buddy James Ray used to tell me, he says, Chris, he said, women are like t-shirts. You can get a different color, different size, different picture on it every day. If that's what you want. He said, they ain't worth worrying about. That's a fact. But, you know, I couldn't live with that mentality. I couldn't drag my kids through that mentality. I wanted to teach my kids to be honest, upright citizens of the world. And So I taught them how to fight, smoke, drink whiskey, love their mamas, love their grandparents, and be respectful. That's the main thing, be respectful. Well, anyway, we're going down here to test this key out. Lord, I hope I don't find anything else wrong with it today. Guess you'll know about it before I will. It'll either be a great Father's Day or it's going to be a drag. Because I've got a full tank of gas. I've got an anchor where I can put this sucker down. I got my life jackets. I've got my fire extinguisher. I got my whistle. I got everything you need. The only thing I don't have, right now, I don't have it registered. And that's because I wanted to spend my money on parts instead of registration. I have not skimped on anything. No aftermarket, nothing. So, well, anyway, I'm not going to let y'all see the startup, but it depends on how crowded it is down here today. I may get the camera up and get some shots of me riding. I don't know. I'm not a great rider. I'm not a racer. Most of my experience comes from running them in the tank. But hey, that's all fine and dandy. You can tune that sun gun in a tank, that's fine too. I wish, damn, Mama said you wish in one hand, shit in the other. But I wish that I had a big enough shop that I could be able to take like we had at AMI. We had an incredible test tank at AMI. It was oval shaped, had a split in the middle, so all your water circulated as you blowed the shit out of it. And we'd put one or two in the tank every day and gut them, you know, run them for everything they was worth. And it really wouldn't cost that much. It was rather easy to use too. You know, we had a chain horse. We just picked it up, a chain horse in a trolley. We just picked it up, rolled it over, and set it down in the tank, boomed it down, and you know, once you suck that thing down with them tie straps, that ski ain't going nowhere. You can tune the transmission right, you can tune the carburetor right there under a load, you know, and sometimes I look back and I wonder, man, was it really worth all the money that I spent going to school and the time and the effort, learning all that book work? And my answer, yes. Yes, it was. Because I was able to walk into a dealership with confidence and ask for a job. Not just, well, I work on my four-wheeler in my backyard all the time. we're always teetering with this and tinkering with that. My friends bring theirs over and I tinker this and tinker that. No, it was, hey man, I got it on paper right here. I started out when I was about 12 years old, tinkering with them. Rebuilt my first carburetor on the creek bank when I was 12 and a half. Rebuilt my first stop in when I was 13. This list just goes on and on and on, and I want to tell you something about, man, I thoroughly wanted, all I really wanted to do was work on Harleys and build custom bikes, not because of Discovery Channel show. Of course, they had a little bit of influence on me. They showed me that anything was possible, but it was like it had always been a dream of mine since I was a little kid. And it was just that I seen an opening to do it, and I went for it. Now later on, after getting out in the industry, I found that the biker lifestyle is a little bit engrossing, and I started seeing my other friends and stuff come into that lifestyle, and it's like, man, that's not them. They don't know what they're getting into. They do not know what they're getting into. And I think it was at my last job that I worked at before I broke my back in a wreck. The guy I worked with, one of the guys I worked with, he went from just being a plain old guy. He started hanging out with a guy from one of the big clubs, and his whole mentality changed. And it's like, man, all of a sudden he wanted to get sleeved in, and all he could talk about was he wanted to get him a bike and this and that, and do this and that and this. And I'm like, oh Jesus. And right when I broke my back, it become very hard to ride a motorcycle. Not that I couldn't ride it, it was the vibration in it that it was like bone on bone in my back. I didn't know I had a broken back. Them bones had not had a chance to fuse together, and they were like two bones rubbing together, and it hurt. So it was like, I ain't riding no more. And I told my boss, I said, man, I can't ride no more. He looked at me kind of strange. He said, what does that mean? I said, that means that I'm not working on any more bikes. What? I said, no. I said, I'll work on them skis, on them boats, and on ATVs and stuff, but I ain't riding no more bikes. And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, I ain't riding no more bikes. You got to have your head on the swivel whenever you're on a bike. And I couldn't turn my head far enough to check behind me to see if anybody was in the lane coming around me or what, So you got to literally have your head on the swivel when you ride a bike. And between that and my back hurting the way it did, I didn't want no part of it. I mean, it's like, fuck this shit. Excuse my language, but that's a fact. There's my money. I done talked all the way down here to the lake. I was just gonna say hello. But I'm just glad that my son did not grow up to be a leather-clad biker. Fine. I guarantee you he could run with the best of them if he did. Because he could ride, Yeah. But he's not. He's a good old country boy, and I love it. I love that just as much as I love anything else. He's down to earth. He's a man of his word. He's an old soul. I guarantee you, these old men that ask this young man for advice, he's not even 30 yet. And it don't matter what it is if they ask him about. I bet you he can tell them, because he's either seen me do it, he's done it, or yeah, or he's heard me talk about it. He's an old soul. He had some good grandfathers too. Taught him the ways of the world. Anyway, I'm getting off here. Fixing back his ski in the lake. We made it this far. Well, pull in here and get our boat launch slip, and oh, I see one out on the lake already cutting. I ain't gonna be out here long. I got a full tank of gas. That don't mean nothing. See how many times it takes me to do this. I ain't used to backing up a jet ski trailer. Luckily we ain't got a big crowd down here eyeballing me. Looks like it's pretty well clear. I know to stay away from that left side. Yeah, I'm gonna be too far over to the left. Already am. I think I'm about to be too far to the left again. Oh well. man, am I tickled. Yeah, baby. We got a ski. Yes, we do. Guys, I am thoroughly tickled. I hope y'all have a great Father's Day. God bless you and have a beautiful day. Lord, I just pulled up in this driveway, the newly installed driveway. There's not even a road up into the place. It's so thick that I don't even think a deer could wade through it. And looks like whenever they piled up or dug out the hole for the culvert to set the culvert, they took the excess dirt and piled it up in the edge of the woods. And then they stood on top of that pile of dirt and put a no trespassing sign on. There's no way you can go past that pile of dirt, I promise you. It's going to take a mulching machine and somebody with some imagination to get in there to clear them a road. That's the first thing people do, is put up a no trespassing sign. When I was a kid, there was no signs. You didn't need no signs. Everybody comes out of Houston or from California, wherever they coming from, and they bought something and it's theirs. It's theirs. Well, Lord have mercy. The people that lived there before didn't have no problems with trespassers. The only reason you're going to have trouble with trespassers is if you don't like people. Put a welcome sign up. And then put an NRA member sticker up on, or sign up. Hey, that's cool. Ain't nobody gonna bother your stuff. If they do, blast them into the herever. Posted signs everywhere. They make me sick. I don't know who sang the song before Tesla, but Tesla sings a mighty fine song. Signs, signs, everywhere the signs. Messing up the scenery, wasting my time. Do this, don't do that, can't you read the sign? Whoa! Yeah. That's what I think about your sign. Honestly, when I see a posted sign or something, I used to have this friend of mine, he's an old Vietnam vet. He could, I don't know if he could read or not. I never asked him. I said, Pee-wee, what's that sign say? We just going there ahead, huh? We ain't gonna bother nothing. We're just gonna go look for some rocks in a rock bed in a creek. Somebody else's property. The deer lease. The deer lease. They don't care nothing about them rocks. Pee-wee said, that sign says, good hunting. And you got to know Pee-wee. Some people say that he was a tunnel rat in Vietnam. I don't believe so, because I asked him one time what he did, and I was a young man. I was a teenager, a young teenager. I known this man all my life, and I asked him one time because he wasn't all there. Pee-wee, what'd you do over there while you was in the military? He said, I was a door gunner. He said, I shot that 50 cal. He said, I buckle in and sit on my hood, on my lid. That's what he called it. He said, I sat on my lid and shot up goose for a living. He was crazy. Sure enough later in life, I don't know, the alcohol poisoned him. He got into Agent Orange. He's all messed up. He said he'd been sprayed with that stuff. He's just all messed up. But he told me one time that they went out, they got called out. They really wasn't supposed to go out. But they got called out, and I don't know if somebody gave him a hit of purple microdot. Hours before, or just before he got on the helicopter or what. But he said that they was flying across that jungle. He was so spaced out on that acid that he was just literally, he just shoot up huts and villages. He said it didn't matter to him. He just killed them all. They all looked the same. He hated them. They first moved into town, opened up a store in town. He went wading up in that store, walking up in that store about half drunk. Took one look at him and seen there was gooks up in there. That's what he called them, gooks. And he went to talking to them in their language. They started getting down behind the counter. They're scared of him. But that's what Pee Wee thought about them no trespassing signs. I could care less. Property used to be owned by my kin folks, different things here, there, here. It's all posted. My grandpa's farm, it's all posted. And they some messed up people. They don't even know. They could tell you how to farm if their life's safe, if it saved their lives. Cotton farmers. They farm cotton. Of course, I'm sure they grew their own peas, and corn, and tomatoes, and stuff like that too. But they was mostly cotton farmers, and they worked. They didn't have no slaves. I'm sure they hired black people to help them in the fields whenever harvest season come along, planting season, you know, because they needed the help. I'm sure they paid them the going wage and got in there and worked right along beside them. They was hard-working people. And then during the war, he moved down to the ship channel. Started working down there. He built landing craft for D-Day. And when the war was over, he started pipe fitting. They retired a pipe fitter from Brown and Root. When I got out of high school, he had 4 or 5 toolboxes out in the back. We went out there. He was old. He was in his late 70s, no, mid 80s probably, in his mid 80s. He died in his 89. We went out there and he said, "You pick you out a box." I picked me out a little old box. He's like, "No, you need a bigger box than that, boy." And I picked me out a big box, one of his big boxes. And he said, "You clean that out. When you get it cleaned out," he said, "put all the tools." He said, "Put all the tools out on, spread them out where we can see them." And he said, "Clean it out, vacuum it out, clean it out real good." He said, "Then spray it inside of it down with WD-40 and then wipe it out real good." I did. When I got done, I went in and got him. And he said, "All right." He said, "You drag them other boxes out." So I started dragging all them little tool boxes out. I say little, they were big boxes. And he's like, "Open them all up." We opened them up. He started going through them. He said, "You're going to need this. You're going to need that. You're going to need this. You ain't going to need this. You won't need this. Put this over in that box. You won't need this. You need this. You need one of these. You need one of these. One of these. One of these." He says, "You know what these are?" "Yes, sir, I know what they are." He says, "You know how to use them?" I said, "Some of them I do." He says, "Well, learn how." He says, "You go get a job." He says, "You take this toolbox with you when you hire on. They ask you if you know how to use them. You tell them, 'Yes, sir.'" He said, "It'll be worth money to you." He said, "It'd be like gold." He wasn't lying. I hired on my first job, and it was like, I hired on, and I was young, 18, 19 years old at the most. Well, I'm standing there at this gate. I don't know nobody there. Somebody told me they was hiring there to go there, so I did. I was standing there, and my grandpa told me what to do, what to say, how to act. So did my brother. I was standing there, and these other guys standing there, just like me, but they older, looked experienced. They looked rough. I'm a clean-cut kid. My hair was kind of long. But I was a clean-cut kid. I was dressed in work clothes, work boots. My hands was rough from work. I worked all my life. Anyhow, I was standing there, and I'm like, "Who's the superintendent over this job?" Guys kind of looked at me like, "Well, I don't know." I'm like, "Okay." I reached up there and knocked on the door at the guard shack. I opened up the guard shack. I said, "Hey, who's the superintendent here?" He said, "That would be so-and-so." "Okay." I said, "Where is he?" "He's probably getting his coffee right about now." I said, "That's cool." I said, "Can you call him and get him to come up here?" He said, "Yeah, I'll call him." I said, he said, "He'll be up here about 6:30. And he told me, he said, he'll be driving a little golf cart and have walkie-talkie on and have a gold hard hat. All right. So as soon as I seen, I sit there and I watched. As soon as I seen this cat coming down that street, and that's what it was, a street. Down that street of that plant. He driving that little golf cart, had a gold hard hat on. He was coming up there. Them other guys, I don't know if they knew what to think about me or not, because the first thing I did is I went straight to the gate. Whenever he pulled up there, he had no other choice but to talk to me. Absolutely. Had no other choice but to talk to me. I talked to him for a minute. He's like, sure, we're hiring. He says, we need some electrical helpers. All right, that's good. I said, that's cool. I said, I know a little something about electricity. He said, really? I said, yeah, I can wire up stereos. I can, I can pull wire. Because I'd been pulling wire all my life. I said, I know how to tie wire together. Really? Yes, sir. I can read a schematic. What? A schematic? He says, we got too many schematics out here. We got blueprints. I said, that's cool. I said, my daddy was a television man. Oh, really? Yes, sir. Well, he says, tell you what, won't you hop in the passenger seat over here. These other guys hadn't even had a chance to talk to him. They looked like they had families at home. They hadn't even had a chance to talk to him yet. I could see almost the hate in their eyes. And he spun that golf cart around, and we got out of there. And he said, look, son. He said, I only needed one hand. He said, I got a electrician around here that's got a bad attitude. And he said, son, I'm going to run him off in a few days. But he said, I'm going to give you an opportunity right here, right now. You show me that you can work with this guy for a few days till the end of the week. He says, I promise you'll have a good electrician to work for whenever he comes, whenever he gets here Monday. Okay. He said, he's supposed to be here Monday and you'll be his helper after that. He said, but you've got to put up with this guy for the next week. Don't say nothing to him. Just mind your own business and do what he says. Yes, sir. Well, the next morning, we sitting there. When I come in, I said, I told the foreman, the electrical foreman, I said, hey, man, I said, can I get my tools out of my truck? I said, he's weighing my truck down. He says, you got tools? I said, yes, sir. He said, all right. He says, well, give me just a little while. And he said, look, we'll get a cherry picker and go out there and pick it up. I said, I don't think we need a cherry picker. I loaded it by myself. He said, okay. He said, well, we'll go out there and get it. So whenever, 9 o'clock break came, I went in there. He says, come on, let's go get your tools. So we piled up in his truck, went out to the gate, went out to the parking lot, got my tools. He's like, dang, that's a big old box for a young man like you. I said, yes, sir. I said, my grandpa hooked me up. He said, for real? He said, what'd your grandpa do? I said, he was a pipe fitter. He said, most of it's pipe fitting tools, huh? I said, no. I said, he'd give me good selection. He'd give me good tools. I got a lot of tools. I got electrical tools. I got pipe fitting tools. I got a good assortment of tools to start out with. He said, do you know how to use them? I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we got my tools. We went down there and unloaded them at the work yard and got it set up on blocks where it would be level and out of the weather and everything. And about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we was all gathered up there bending. Everybody was bending a piece of pipe, and I was learning. I was watching them how they use that little hydraulic bender and threader, how to do it. And he says, son, can you measure and cut? I said, yeah, I can. I got a list of stuff here I need to cut and measure. And he said, well, tell you what, before you go to cutting much, he said, let me see you cut me off a piece of unistrut, 12 inches. No, he said, what was it? He said, I want it 12 and 3/8 inches long. Yes, sir. So I reached over and I looked and I seen a piece of scrap unistrut laying there. I picked it up. I measured it, marked it at 12 and 3/8. Took my square, marked me some square lines on there. As soon as the guy got off the vise, I took and locked it in the vise and grabbed a portaband. And I hadn't used the portaband about 2 or 3 times. And but I had worked all my life with different kinds of tools. I mean, there's first time for everything. And grabbed that portaband up and I started cutting it. But I had watched them guys cut enough that I knew how. I got it started on the edge and I rolled that portaband in there and I cut it off. And I cut it with my line. I stayed with my line and left my line. And I took it. As soon as I put that portaband down, I took my file and knocked the burrs off of it, smoothed it down, rounded the corners off, and took my tape measure and I measured it. And it was exactly 12 and 3/8 inches long on all 3 sides. And I handed it to him, and he pulled his tape measure out and he measured it. Sure enough, it's 12 and 3/8 inches long. And he said, son, he said, come with me. We walked over around the corner in a shady spot, and we stood there for just a minute. He says, I don't know you, Grandpa. He said, I don't know you, Mom and Daddy. He said, I don't know nothing about you. He said, but you're going to make a good hand one day. He said, I'm going to give you a $3 an hour raise. That's going to bump you up to $10 an hour. And he says, don't make me regret it. Yes, sir. Shoot, man, I was stepping in high cotton. Back in that day, I think minimum wage was $3.95 an hour. Yes, sir. I was making good money. And from there, I built me a resume. I did. I mean, jobs ended. I knew how to find a job. You know, I done proved to myself I knew how to find a job. I started making me a phone book with people's phone numbers in them. Whenever I needed a job, I'd start calling. I didn't call around to different companies. I called my buddies. You know, and it got to where, man, finally my buddies would call me. Hey, so-and-so's hiring. Are you working right now? Yeah, I'm working. How much they paying you? Well, these guys over here paying $14.35. You know, okay, well, I'll be over there tomorrow. Sure enough. What kind of hours they working? They working 7/12s, buddy. Woo-hoo-hoo. Shoot, yeah, man. You talking about a 20-year-old kid making $50,000 a year in the late 1980s? I was rolling. I was rolling good. I was. Thank you, Jesus, for bringing me through all that. There we go. Skis all cleaned up, ready to go back. Inside and out.